This is Talk Local to Me from the Central Virginia Business Coalition. Streaming live each week on Media Squatch Plus and available on demand in the app or wherever you get your podcasts. Local stories, local business, local impact.
Welcome back, everyone.
Hi,
like
welcome
I made
back.
you turned and looked at me like, is she going to speak? Yes.
Like, does she know her name today?
I'm contemplating. Yeah, welcome back. I'm Heather Alto with the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
And I'm Mike Norfield with Visiting Angels of Lynchburg, America's Choice in Home Care.
Yeah, welcome to Talk Local to Me. I'm we weren't in the studio last week because were you snowed in? I was snowed in.
Majorly snowed in.
I'm going to just say, and we're going to talk a little bit about this later in the podcast, but I am tired of weather. I'm tired of the weather. I'm tired of the snow. I'm tired of the ice. I've never been a fan of cold. Like winter is like my least favorite season of all the seasons. So I've never been a fan. And I am one of those people that I don't like to sleigh ride. I had a very traumatic experience as a child, so I don't sleigh ride.
You were too short to get into the sled, or?
You're hilarious.
I know.
No.
That's why I'm here.
No. I had an instance of when I was sleigh riding down a hill near my, where I lived. There was this humongous hill.
Yep.
You remember that?
I'm familiar with the hill.
Okay. So we used to sleigh ride down that hill. Well, the people that lived on that property had an RV. And one time they parked it on the road and I was going down the hill too fast and I went under, like I hit it. And luckily for me, there were a lot of kids trying to stop me. I was going really fast. So it slowed me down to some extent because they had told me like, I really could have it could have been bad, like a very bad situation. So, after that, I don't sleigh ride. I'm scared of sleigh riding and that fear, like my kids, I'm like, no, don't go sleigh riding. And like, so they have to go sleigh riding when I'm not watching.
You just got to look for,
it terrifies me.
Make sure there's no RV in the way.
Yeah. But now I have a fear of like trees and sticks and any variable anything. So it's just, anyway, so I'm not a big fan of the snow activities. So I'm good. And now my driveway is also a horrifying mess. I live way out in the country. So my actual driveway is almost 3/4 of a mile long. Like it's this long, like gravel driveway. So you can imagine you can't plow it. And now that it's even starting to melt a little, it's getting really muddy and slick and dirty. It's horrendous. My husband's gotten stuck in the driveway the last 2 mornings. Yeah. I had to actually pull him out with my car. To get his work van out. It's been nuts. So, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, done with it.
Our landlord for our building, the guys came and plowed, and they don't always do like a fantastic job, but of course, when we usually get snow, they plow it and then it melts. Well, this isn't going anywhere. So they came back yesterday and poor guy was out there with a shovel getting it all up, and it looks fantastic today. So they did a great job, but it just took them a little while.
Yeah. So. And it doesn't help because we have a lot of events coming up, a lot of things going on. So trying to get ready for all of the things, even the ones that are happening in like March and April, and you're stuck in your house and you can't necessarily get out. And we don't have the best internet like where I'm at. So sometimes it can be spotty, especially if there's weather. It's been a lot of fun. Been a lot of fun. I'm sure people out there are commiserating with me right now as I speak about, how, they had to deal with work and kids being out of school and how that throws a kink into everything. And, of course, not that you should be sending your kids to school for babysitting purposes. Don't get me wrong. Like that's not what it is. But, I've just noticed even with my daughter being home for the last week and a half, and then like she went back to school yesterday and for some reason she jumped right into taking a test. And I'm kind of like, really? They haven't been there for a week and a half and like they're taking a test. Needless to say, her score was not good.
Right.
But
probably across the board though, it wasn't good.
I'm hoping. I don't know. It's my kid, so I can never tell. But it's a lot going on. But speaking of a lot going on,
we got some events coming up.
CBABC has a lot going on. So I'm not going to touch on our annual dinner because that's a little wonky right now. So I'm going to skip over that. But I will mention 3 events that we have coming up in the next 2 months that I'm really excited about. We want to get people participating in, and that is in March, our Lead On Summit happening March 26th at the Craddock and Terry Hotel. So if you are a business leader in this community or just a small business owner, don't have to be a member of the Central Virginia Business Coalition. So I'm going to put that out there right now. This is open to anyone that wants to come out and just make some connections and hear some really incredible speakers talking about business topics and kind of being able to uplift you here at the beginning of the year and get you set and ready for 2026. The Lead On Summit is a great opportunity to do that. So right now we have 6 speakers lined up talking about just all types of various topics, whether it's, AI, finance, leadership, your work-life balance, just things like that, all of that combined. Your ticket right now, tickets are on sale. We have an early bird rate. They're $79, and that includes your lunch. That includes your breakfast. That includes all the speakers. It's going to include some fun little takeaways. We have a vendor section. So we'll have people that want to set up like a vendor table area. You can go out and meet. We're going to have like a photo booth. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can announce that our morning keynote speaker is going to be Dot Richardson. She is the Liberty University softball coach. She is also a 2-time Olympic gold medal winner in softball.
And to quote Chris McCowan, that means that between us, there are 2 gold medals.
Yes.
Two Olympic medals.
2 Olympic medals.
Between the two of us.
Between the two of us. So she will be there. I'm really excited to hear her talk.
Yeah,
she goes around the world and speaks when she's not here coaching.
Softballing.
Yeah, being able to offer that right here, I think is going to be awesome. So your tickets, we have a cap on how many tickets can be sold because there's only a certain amount of people we can fit in a room. So you're going to want to get your tickets early, and you want to get them before the early bird special does go away at the end of February. So you have a month to get that $79. After that, anytime in March, it goes up to, I believe it goes up to $100. I think it's $100 a ticket.
Okay.
So you're going to want to jump in, get those. We also have our home and garden show happening April the 11th at Easy Glass High School. We are going to have 2 gyms full of vendors in various specialties. So construction, contracts, landscaping, anything to do with your home and garden. It even lends into real estate, mortgage, finance, we just want it to be where people can come out and learn more about, how to.
So if you have a home that you want to upgrade, or if you're looking for a home, there's going to be a lot of options to choose from.
Yeah. I constantly see people, especially in like the Lynchburg recommendation pages, asking for like certain contractors. Like, I need someone to paint something. I need a plumber.
And it's hard to find.
It really
someone
is.
who wants to do. So it's a great way to come out, meet the people behind the companies and kind of get a feel for them and know what. Yeah,
just get some information.
Who to go with.
And it's going to be free. We're not charging admission at the door. We want people to come in and actually meet and, interact with the vendors that are going to be there. We do have a couple of food trucks that will be on site too. I know we have the Maine Lobster food truck.
El
Cabritos is going to be there. So, you can come grab some food. We're actually also potentially working on having one of the shred buses there. So if people want to bring shredding, right, April the 11th, it's right there at tax time. If you're trying to get rid of some, if you need to shred some documents and get them out your hair, we're hoping to have the shredding bus there too. So we're working on that and can give out some more information closer to the day of the event. So
I like it.
Just put that on your calendar to come out. But if you are someone who is interested in vending, let us know. And then lastly, I'll mention our Women's Empower seminar. That takes place April the 30th, and we are in the process of getting our speakers put together for that. I can tell you though, regardless of who the lineup, which we haven't, completely solidified, but once we do, it's going to be a great day. This event is always it is hands down my favorite event we do all year. Yeah. No offense to the men. It's just being in a room with, close to 200 women and listening to the speakers and just, being able to, whether it's commiserate or learn from or just, uplift each other. We have breakfast, we have lunch. Tickets right now are $100. But we give out goodie bags. We have charcuterie cups, cookies. It's just going to be awesome.
Yeah. And I usually help and pick up food and stuff like that and deliver it. So the speakers that I've seen just from being there, setting up lunch and things like that, it's a really great event. My staff loves to go. So
I actually had a male member ask me yesterday, how would it be horrible if he did come. And I was like,
No.
I mean, no, if you want to come, I mean, by no means is it, it is a women's conference, but I mean, like,
It doesn't mean that it's
not
only useful
exclusive.
for men. Right?
Yeah, you can come and learn from it too. I told him, if you want to come and support the women and, he was talking about doing like a part of the bag sponsor and like, putting some info. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. It's awesome.
It's fantastic.
So that is coming up. You're going to want to get your tickets for that too, because the early bird rate right now for that is $99. It goes up to $125. But we also, for those, I guess, especially ladies out there, have a combo price right now where you can get Lead On and Empower for $180 right now. And you can either pay it in full or you can even split it into like 3 monthly payments. So it's paid by Empower.
Yeah.
If that helps your financial situation, whatever's in your budget, we try and work with that. So yeah, lots of fun, lots of great things going on. And then after that, I'll be very tired, but very fulfilled that we've gotten, 4 of those bigger events out of the way. And then all we have left is like putt-putt. And then we got a couple months off.
And then Centerfest and
And
then
then I can sleep.
parades and then all that good stuff.
Yeah. Then it just wraps around again.
Right.
So anyway, you got anything going on? Anything you want to share real quick before we
No,
talk to
not
our
really.
first
Just,
guest?
had coffee for caregivers at my office this morning. It was great. So if you're a caregiver out there providing care for anyone from, 0 years old to 100 and 0.
100 and 0.
Yep. Then
There you go,
it's a great group. Had some new folks this morning. So it was a good turnout I was surprised because of the snow and things like that. And I went and got some Shipley's donuts. So
Yeah.
so they had a nice little snack this morning. So
They're good donuts.
which also meant I got one. So, and also got one for my wife. Today's her birthday. So
I know.
Happy birthday, Sheena.
Happy birthday, Sheena. I was actually getting ready to post that. I was on my way here and then I had a phone call. So I hadn't had a chance to hit the Facebook message.
Gotcha.
But happy birthday, Sheena. I know she's one of our like most
She's our biggest fan.
Biggest fan. That's what I was trying to
Biggest
say.
fan.
She's our number one listener.
Yes.
First time caller, number one listener, or something like that.
Long time
She could
listener,
call
first time caller.
That's it. Long time listener, first time caller. But anyway, yeah, no, happy birthday. So we are, we have our guest today. We have one guest that's in with us today, and I'm going to introduce her, and I'm going to say her name correctly because I am smart.
We're all waiting now because we know.
So we have Theresa with Empower and Flourish.
Yeah.
And I said that. I'm very proud of myself.
Yeah.
I've been saying it in my head over and over again. But Theresa is a member of the Central Virginia Business Coalition. She's also one of our delegates on our delegate team. I know y'all have heard us talking about our delegate team. It's a group of volunteers that help work with us. Mike's on that as well. And but welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I want to start off by just having you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then kind of just dive into Empower and Flourish and, how you got it started and kind of what kind of led you to, to start.
Yeah. So my name is Theresa. I have been in conventional healthcare since 1995. I was a medic in the Navy, a corpsman, and then a combat medic in the National Guard. And then I went to nursing school. And so I'm conventionally trained. But when I was 35, I got very, very sick. And the best all of the specialists could offer me was to go home and file disability. They had no idea what was wrong with me. And they just kind of gave up and sent me home. Threw me away is what it feels like. So I started to learn everything I could find about health and wellness and how the body was created to heal itself. It's called homeostasis. It's a really neat concept. And eventually started to get better before I had ever heard of the term functional medicine. So I describe what I do now as having a functional medicine practice, but really it's about getting to the root cause of why you're sick instead of just chasing symptoms. We all know conventional healthcare is flawed and has a lot of issues, but they're just not set up for wellness or a root cause approach. They're set up to match your symptoms with an algorithm of medications, tests, procedures, or referrals. That's really what our healthcare providers know how to do. And I know that firsthand because I'm about to graduate from nurse practitioner school. So I know the behind the scenes of how your doctors are making decisions and why they're doing what they're doing, and they're just not set up for wellness. And I have a passion for helping people figure out, why are you sick? Why is your thyroid messed up? Why are you gaining weight and you can't lose it? Why do you have diabetes? Mm-hmm. Diabetes is my current passion. I'm doing a scholarly project for my doctorate at Liberty on reversing type 2 diabetes with lifestyle. So those kinds of things are what I help clients do. And I'm passionate about it because I feel better now at 48 than I felt my entire life since maybe I was 12 or 13 years old. And it's just by making small tweaks, not huge things. So, yeah.
Mhm.
So I have a functional medicine practice, I guess is the easiest way to describe what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your website, so I love the hamster wheel. If you keep doing the same things, you're going to get the same results, like going to the doctor. And
Mhm.
how many times have we been to the doctor and we're like, hey, this isn't quite right. This isn't quite right. This isn't quite right. Right. So, and they're like, oh, well, let's try this. Let's try that. And like not a lot of variance and things like that. Not really. They're just kind of like, oh, well, symptom A needs medicine B or whatever. So I went through that until for about 3 years until I finally got diagnosed with ADHD. And it was like, oh, here we go. This is one of my issues. And so started with medicine and then went to diet, now working on sleep because medicine doesn't work if you don't have sleep. So like working on changing not just the medicines, but like the habits on day to day, which can make a huge difference.
Yeah. And one of the things that really makes me different is my practical and realistic approach. So a lot of people that do lifestyle medicine or functional medicine kind of want to give a binder of all of the life changes they want you to go home and make it once. And
Right.
we all know that doesn't work.
It's an
So
overwhelming list
I'm
that will not happen.
like, let's just work on adding some of these foods. Let's just
Right.
work on drinking a little bit more water. Like I can help people prioritize. I say all the time, you have a finite amount of time, money, and effort. Nobody has unlimited all three of those, right? So
Right.
let's be strategic about figuring out which changes are going to really move the needle for you. But yes, you need to sleep for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, I think, one of the biggest things is people don't realize that a lot of the reasons you're not feeling well or you're feeling sluggish or things are happening are simple fixes. Like you're talking about making sure you're sleeping enough, drinking enough water. I can promise you, I don't drink enough water. And it's actually really bad for me because I'm a gastric bypass. I'm supposed to have a lot of water.
Right.
This is probably the first I've drank today.
Oh.
And that's bad. And don't tell Sheena when she's listening, but it's okay. But like, I know I'm supposed to do better, but it's the mindset of like getting what you're supposed to do. And I feel like with medicine nowadays, most doctors or most places, like they're on a time limit. And we've talked about this before. You go in, you've got 15 minutes to talk to your doctor and it's like, get out, and a lot of them are just like, oh, well, let's just prescribe you something and go on your way. I will say, I feel like I am blessed because I do have a doctor I feel like does not do that. And I love him to death. And I was just talking this morning to my daughter about him, that if he ever retires, I'm just going to lay on the floor in a ball and cry. But, it's many of them. My husband, like I went with my husband to the doctor a while back and I was sitting in the room with him and I was just like, this isn't right. Like, this is not, you're not really hearing him. You're listening, but you're not hearing.
You're picking up keywords and saying,
issues.
oh, here's.
Yeah, I'm working with my marketing team. And that's one of the things they said when they were listening to me talk is your tagline should be tired of your doctor not listening to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's the problem is you're sitting there and you have these real concerns and you get brushed off with, oh, well, this is what I think it is. And we're going to try this and see me in 3 to 5 months. And they're not really hearing. And then you leave and nothing's getting better. And then you can't get in for 3 to 6 months because
or they tell you it's just normal. So, all of our perimenopausal women friends, how frustrating is that for your doctor to be like, well, you just have to suck it up. It's just normal. It's part of aging. It is what it is. And that's not true at all. There's a lot of things you can do.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So if someone comes to you, you do free consultations.
I do.
So is that just like kind of sitting down with them and going over what,
So I do way more for free than I should. I'm working on that too. But at the moment, what I'm still doing is I'll listen to your story. If you have any lab work, I have a fancy piece of functional medicine software that I can feed your regular boring lab work in from your annual physical. And it gives us some nuances. So like you were talking about water, I can look at your kidney function and give you an idea of whether we need to move that up the list of priorities or if your body is compensating. Okay, like you definitely need water, but I can help you determine how important that is. So this fancy functional medicine software is really unique and cool to help us prioritize what you need. So I've been doing all of that as part of a free consult. So I'll hear your story, we'll look at your labs, and then we can make a plan of what you need to do. And if you want to use my services to help you reach your goals, then great. And if not, I can arm you with some really good data, some good information.
Yeah. And then that kind of rolls into, you have a 90-day jumpstart
I
program.
do. That's my
So,
bread and butter.
I want to hear more about that program, because I'm reading about it and it sounds really really great.
It's really a great program. So we were talking earlier, a lot of functional medicine providers want to send you home with a binder of things to do, and it's overwhelming. You can't do that. So I was praying about how I could take all of this information that's in my head and translate that into something actionable people can do. And I came up with the concept of having 90 videos. They're 6 to 22 minutes a piece, spread out over 90 days. And it's just a little bit of information every day that builds and builds and builds. And it's all the things, all the foods I want you to add more of, a little bit about foods to take away, but that's not my main focus. It's really on addition. Then we talk about sleep and stress and the gut microbiome, which is currently my love affair is with the gut microbiome. If I could fix one thing for people that would give them the most results, it's fixing their gut. So it kind of goes through all of that, but then it gives us the opportunity to work together back and forth every day for 90 days also. And then I've added a component where people are coming into my office once a month during that program as well. So I can see you, we can talk through things, help you overcome obstacles. It's really a great program. I've had people tell me that it should be like a college class, that it's the most comprehensive program of its kind.
Well, I like the fact too that it's, like you were saying, it's 90 days, 90 videos. So, they always say, like, if you want to make something a habit, you have to do it for at least 2 weeks.
That's why I did it.
And my problem is, even when like I'm at the doctor or they put me on a medication, I'm horrible about taking medication. Like I'll skip it. I was joking with my doctor this morning that I should probably have 50 kids if I'd have been on like actual birth control pills, because I would never have taken my medication correctly. But, being able to go in there and do a video a day, that makes you accountable. It's like, oh, I got to do this one. And it keeps you occupied. It's not like, oh, you've been told this, we'll see you in 90 days. Does that make sense? Like, we'll see you in 3 months and we'll see how things are working out for you.
Well, and part of the reason it works is because the information is solid, but also, especially women, but I'm sure all of us have this problem. Like, what would your life be like if you actually thought about your health every day for 90 days?
Right.
Say a tracked number grows, and that's because you're thinking about it. So if you track your water, you'll drink more. If you track your steps, you'll get more. If you're really focusing on your health every day for 90 days, even if it's just 6 minutes a day, that moves the needle for people.
Yeah.
And it takes way more than 2 weeks to develop a habit, which we know.
Yeah.
Right.
So 90 days is a long time. And my clients get great results.
And you can't measure what you don't track, right? So if you're not keeping track of, how much water am I drinking a day and things like that, like you're not aware of it.
Absolutely.
And it just falls to your basic habits, right? So if you're not used to drinking a lot of water, you're not going to just start drinking more. But if you start paying attention to how much you drink, then you're like, I haven't had enough today, right?
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's like you say too, a lot of times people don't go to the doctor until something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll go in and they'll hope, oh, okay, we'll take some medicine. Okay, I'm feeling better. So
the
I'll stop
doctor
doing
knows
it
you
again.
for about 15 minutes and you're trying to solve all your problems.
Yeah.
And
And one of my biggest complaints is that the doctors tell you your lab work looks fine. So then in your head, you're like, cool, I can keep doing all the things I've been doing. I will not tell you your lab work looks fine. That's another thing my marketing team and I were talking about. She said, have you ever told anybody you're good, there's no changes you need to make? And I've never had anybody come in that was all optimal. So we can always do things to optimize your health.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really awesome. Now, do you do work with, I guess in hand sort of like women that may have infertility issues or things
There's
like that?
There's a lot of stuff we can do for that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder about that because we've talked about it on the show long time ago, but my daughter used to have a lot of infertility issue, and we finally, we had my little sweet grandbaby, but she was born 2 years ago, and they have now again not been able to, conceive, had issues.
Multiply.
Yeah, go forth and multiply. And so, her and I were talking today about I probably need to. She was having to go up to UVA and do some things there, but she was talking to me about, I wonder if there are some things that I can do without having to go spend that type of money or having to do those types of trips up to this and that. So yeah.
Yeah, it really just depends on how motivated people are as to how far we can move the needle, right? So if people are really motivated to make some changes and they're willing to change some of what they're eating, maybe get rid of some of the processed food and things like that, put a little bit of money into fixing their gut, we can do all kinds of things for people.
Yeah, you're right. Motivation is definitely
But people that are
key.
motivated get, great results. Absolutely.
And you talk a little bit about probiotics on your website and things like that. So are all probiotics the same or are there different?
Absolutely not.
I want to learn more about that. That's one thing, probiotics, because I know my gut's all types of messed up.
Yeah, so I'm actually almost done with a certification to become a microbiome specialist.
Ooh.
But I'm really fascinated with the different strains of bacteria, the different things that they do, and then leaky gut. So leaky gut is what's propagating systemic inflammation, and systemic inflammation is what's making most of us really, really sick. So you fix the gut, and that gets better. Back to the infertility. The bulk of our hormone metabolism takes place in our gut. The bulk of our immune system is made in our gut. And it all has to do with these different strains of bacteria. One of the experts that I listen to says that in parts of the world that have not been westernized, like I picture the Amazon jungle or something, I don't know, somewhere that's not been westernized, those people have over 400 different types of good bacteria in their gut. A healthy American has about 200 types. The people that come into my office have like 90.
Wow.
So putting strategically back the different types of bacteria is a huge part of fixing gut health and then lowering systemic inflammation. But the delivery method matters. The types of bacteria matter, but then the delivery method matters. So when your stomach acid is working the way it should, it's supposed to be killing things that are alive that we're putting down there. That's why we don't all have a bajillion parasites and problems like that. So you want to have a delivery method for the live bacteria that can get through the stomach acid, I say like a pit of lava, through your small intestine into your large intestine, because that's where they're kind of supposed to pop out and do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
So most of what you get off the shelves at the store is very ineffective. I'm not going to say that they don't work at all, because there is some efficacy, but they're not effective enough to really repair a dysbiotic, like a bad gut. So I use a certain supplement company that works really, really well. You're supposed to go through a practitioner like me to get them, because they actually work that well. You can kind of make a mess of things if you're not careful. But yeah, I can see on stool tests if we have to go that route, or just in your labs that systemic inflammation is getting better after taking them.
Huh.
It works
Okay.
really well. I'm really nerdy about the different kinds of bacteria. There's even forms that are called psychobiotics now that are really good for mental health.
Okay.
There's a lot, like with ADHD or depression, anxiety. There's a lot that can be done with just fixing the strains of bacteria in your gut.
What about in like teenagers? Do you work with like teens as well? Because I know, I feel like that would be something that a lot of parents should look at maybe with their teens and get it fixed before they're becoming, an adult. But like your teenage years are like crazy. You're already dealing with so much and the hormones and all the things. And like, I know my youngest, she has ADHD and she has high anxiety, but I also know there's I would say she also had like, she gets severe migraines, but there's probably not at least twice a week where she comes and just like, my stomach hurts, mom. Like my stomach hurts. I'm having issues with my tummy. That might be something I need to look into.
100% stuff.
Definitely need to look into that. Yeah.
But then teenagers with the mental health. So it's really hard to change their diet. I mean, I'm sure you know, but there are things we can do with just taking certain strains of probiotics before we go looking at medications and things like that. I have a friend that's a psych nurse practitioner, and she believes so strongly in what I do that I think we'll wind up opening a place together, because you can't really separate. We all want to separate mental health from physical health, but you really can't. So she sends me her patients so we can work on their gut, and then they go back to her to see, do I still need these medications? If so, the same amount. There's a lot we can do.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I may have to chat with you about it. At least, especially for maybe my little one, because I want to make sure she's getting the proper. And I'm that person, like I don't want to push medication if I don't have to, because I think medication can actually kill good bacteria correctly and like have issues with that. And if there's a way to maybe do it more holistically or easier, that's not as, affecting her chemically.
And eating like a lot of processed foods and things like that. From what me and ChatGPT are having a whole conversation over here.
Are you?
Kills the good bacteria.
Yeah, the processed foods can be bad for you. And so changing your diet, reducing stress. And if you drink a lot of alcohol, which I don't really drink a lot of alcohol, but like it was interesting that like stress keeps coming up a lot. So it's kind of stressing me out.
Stress actually kills some of the good bacteria and can lead to that leakiness in the gut. So helping people to manage their stress and then identify that they are stressed. A year ago would have told you I wasn't stressed.
Me too.
Even though I do a million things.
Right.
and my life is insane. But I've learned to be more like tuned in at
Right.
night. There's a lot of stress. Yeah.
Yeah.
sure. I'm definitely stressed, so I'm just going to leave that there.
Right. Well, we've talked about mental health a lot on this show, and mental health and physical health are very much connected. And the difference, so I started therapy a little bit over a year ago. And like, it's the greatest thing ever. Like, even though sometimes we don't really talk about much because I do it every week. So it's not necessarily like a heavy subject every time. Right. But just the knowing that I have, somebody that I can kind of talk to and they keep me accountable and we talk about it in following weeks and follow up and things like that. My mindset and my physical health are so much better, and recognizing that stress, because a lot of times we're stressed out and we don't realize that what we're feeling is the pressure and that stress and things like that. So being able to identify that and realize that, like, hey, I am stressed. What can I do to reduce stress? Right. So the snow definitely didn't help. So, and I think now I just need a vacation to a warm climate that doesn't have any snow. I think that's the perfect solution. Right.
Yeah.
So
we were just talking about going to Disney.
Right.
Well, I just want to say one thing about the stress really quick. I have something that's not on my website. It's pretty new. It's a bioenergetic sort of frequency machine that's new to me. That's amazing. But what I'm loving about it, everything in the body has frequency, the good and the bad, and everything should be resonating at a certain frequency. But one of the themes that I'm picking up is the emotions that we're not feeling, but that our body is feeling, that are coming up on the scans. So it's the way it's all connected is just, I don't know, humbling.
So I do not have a very physical job, right? I sit in a chair most days, whether it's in a car driving somewhere or sitting here doing this or in my office and things like that. But when I have a stressful day, my body feels it, right? So when I go to get out of my chair at the end of the day and it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm so sore, all that, those are the days that I now know, like I need more water and I need, I probably need to go to bed early and,
Well, and be kind to ourselves. We don't think about being kind. We're just busy. Got to move on.
Favorite thing you've said all day.
Yeah.
So being kind to yourself and recognizing that, like, if you don't feel good and you've got inflammation and your body just hurts and you're going to the doctor trying to figure out why, realizing that you deserve to find the answers is a huge thing. A lot of people are like, no, I'm just fine. Right. Most men don't like going to the doctor. Right. And they're like, no, I'm fine, because a lot of us, I have learned through my own journey, like, we don't feel like we deserve to be healthy, happy, and all the things, right? So like, we just got to tough it out. This is what we do, right? I am very different because I go to the doctor every 3 months, whether I need to or not, right? So because I want that chance to be able to say, like, hey, this isn't really working. This is, I didn't go to the doctor for like probably 5 years, 6 years, right? So once I started going again, it was like so I'm type 2 diabetic, all that is, I've talked about on the show before. So like being able to figure out like how to manage that and things like that. And if you had told me, 4 years ago, I'd have a sensor in my arm that tells me what my blood sugar is at any time. I learned so much more about my body and how it processes everything. I can tell you from my blood sugar when I'm stressed, right? Because it'll go up for no reason. And I can tell you when I get relaxed too, because when I get relaxed, it'll drop every night, because I've started a new sleep routine and taken a supplement to kind of like some magnesium stuff to help me sleep at night, things like that. That weirdly enough came from my eye doctor, not my primary physician. Anyway, so I started doing that. With my sugar, I'll get in bed at night, and 1 o'clock in the morning, every morning, I have to eat something good before I lay down to go to sleep that has like some protein and a little bit of sugar in it, so that that's code for a small Reese cup. 4 grams of protein. I'm just saying it's a health food. I have to eat something or my phone will go off, because I have an alarm if my blood sugar gets below 70. Every night at 1 o'clock in the morning, it'll go off if I haven't eaten right during the day or something like that. And so being able to kind of manage that is a huge thing. And I kind of got off topic. The ADHD kicked in. But like just being aware of that and realizing that like we're worth finding out the answers. Right.
Yeah. And I think you're very right, especially no offense to men, but I think it is hard. I like my husband has been having breathing issues for years. And I keep saying, let's go to the doctor. Well, I can't take off from work. I got to work. I got to get to work. I don't have time to go to the doctor.
Right.
And he didn't really have a doctor. And we finally got him into like one that my kids, and it finally took him almost passing out.
Right.
Like in the driveway one morning, because when he was trying to, I forget what it might have been, shoveling snow, to be honest. It wasn't like recently, it was a while back, but that he finally came in and he was like, you need to make me a doctor.
Talking in very general terms, it takes fear to get men to go to the doctor.
You're right. But the problem is sometimes it's too late. And that's the part
Right.
that makes me nervous. And that was what was making me nervous with him was like, I was actually concerned it was more like cancerous. I thought, oh my gosh, he's got lung cancer.
That's where we
something going.
That's where our brain always goes
Yeah.
first, though.
And it wasn't, but it was still something very serious.
Right.
And like, if we had caught it, or if you'd gone maybe 2 years earlier, it might not have been as bad as it is now, but like here we are. So let's just, make the best of it.
Well, and that's why I love that functional medicine software where I can feed your labs in and show you like, look, you're not here yet, but if you're not careful, you're trending.
Here's the path you're going
being
down.
in a place you don't want to be in. So
Yeah.
let's do the work ahead of time so that you don't wind up there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like today I've just told like every listener all my family's medical issues,
mean,
but
it's fine.
whatever. But yeah, like, but I mean, it's real stuff. Like it happens, and people need to be aware that there are options for you out there. And I think nowadays we just tend to sweep it under the rug, or we think,
it's not important enough for me to worry about right now.
Or I don't have health insurance, so it's hard for me to get out. Insurance is a big deal.
That's why
too.
I didn't go to the doctor for 5 years.
So, like, I was actually looking at your 90-day jumpstart, and I love the fact that you have on there, like, here's the price. You're very upfront. It is right there. You don't
There's
have
a payment plan.
There's a payment plan. So, like,
and maybe FSA
I
or
can do
HSA.
HSA and FSA. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
So, but you might need a prior authorization from your doctor, which is good to know as well. Right? That's what it said on the website.
Might, but
Yeah.
I haven't had that issue.
Okay.
Awesome.
So that's just if I don't say that, then somebody's going to need it.
Yeah. But I haven't had that issue. I can.
Okay.
yeah. But I love the fact that you have made it affordable. You have been very upfront with what it's going to cost. It's not like, oh, well, let me just put in this medication. And like, I'll go to the doctor, like, he'll be like, I'm going to put this medication. And then I'll go to the pharmacy and it's like, oh, that's $200. I'm like, the heck it is. Like,
Right.
I'm not paying that. I can't afford that. So at least though, if you're looking at this and you go, okay, here's what it is. I'm getting 90 days worth of, help here. And what I can split it into this is awesome. Like, I think that's wonderful.
It's been really important to me that I don't outprice the people that are around me, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I really want this type of approach to be affordable to everybody, because traditional functional medicine is thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
And healthcare is not just for the wealthy.
Right. Well, and I think going back to the deserve level, all of us deserve to have the information. Now, whether you choose to work with me or not is completely up to you and your goals and motivation. But everybody should have the opportunity to at least look at their labs my way once and decide what they want to do with it. So I've intentionally kept my prices where they are, much to the dismay of my business coaches. But,
Right.
Yeah.
I feel you on that, because that's what I do with the CBABC stuff all the time. I'm like, let's do this and let's break it into all the monthly payments. And
Like, hey,
but
we've got
I'm
a
like,
special right now. Everything's half off.
well, yes, I am doing that at this time.
So if you're not a member and you're listening to this,
Yeah,
you
you
sign up 50% off until February 14th.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
February
I pay
14th.
attention.
Yeah. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm kind of like you in the way, like, I want to make it affordable. I want people to be like, oh, there is an option for help, whether, for you, it's in the healthcare field, but for me, it's like with small business, like there is an option for people that potentially can't just plunk down $500-$600 at a time and hope for the best. It's just how it is. So I was joking with my daughter on the phone earlier, because we're big Disney fans, and we were talking about how they just hired a new CEO, and they put out like what his compensation package was. And I'm just going to say it's ridiculous. And I said, hey, I could go be the head. Like, what are the qualifications?
I'll do it for like a fourth of that.
Like I could go run Disney. And then Autumn joked with me, and she said, no, she's like, you'd be that person that'd be like, oh, are you having a bad day? Just get in there. Just don't worry about your tickets. Just get in there and have a good time, cause I just want people to be able to enjoy and do the things. So I probably would be a horrible Disney person. They'd probably be like, nope, but still. But I do think that you do, and nowadays have to have some sort of plan for people to be able to make it affordable and let them get the quality of care that they need versus, not. And that's where we're trending now, is people are just not doing things because they can't afford it.
Right.
It's crazy.
And it's getting worse. The insurance reimbursement is getting much worse. And I don't take insurance. But if I did take insurance, I would have to do what I was told. And I'm never going to do what I'm told.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because
It gives me the opportunity.
the insurance dictates
It does.
the care you get,
It does. Very much so.
which is crazy. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother show.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us
You're welcome.
today.
Thanks for having me.
So there's 2 questions I ask every podcast guest that comes on. The first one is, how long have you been a member of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
Less than a year.
Less than a year. And What do you think is the greatest benefit of being a member of the CVABC?
When you're an entrepreneur, I'm like a one-woman show. I'm just doing everything on my own. It's really nice to be not an island, right? So when you go to the events and you see other people that are also small businesses, it's nice to not feel alone. So I think it's the relationships. I love to build relationships.
Yeah. And it's great to know that you're not the only one facing XYZ.
Right.
Right? Like, is this really this crazy? Yes.
And I love all the events. I'm really excited. I have them all plotted on my calendar and tickets purchased. And I really love that there are so many opportunities to gather and like learn new things. I love to gather skills and experiences.
And you are one I'm going to be chatting with soon too, because I'm hoping with fun fact, new thing. Look at Mike. But I've been saying I wanted to do this for like a couple of years now, and this year's the year it's going to happen. So Empower. Again, my favorite event. I love Empower. I think it does so much wonderful things. And I actually have gotten a lot of RFPs for people that want to speak at Empower. And I can't do everyone that has sent one it. You know what I'm saying? But I have been wanting to do a spinoff of Empower where we do a monthly get together of women called like Ladies in Leadership, or just something to that effect, where every month there's a new topic and we're doing something more focused to women. So like, for example, like Live Fit B Studio,
Live Move.
Live Move B, they're a new member. They can't do a coffee talk because they have classes in the morning, but she was like, can we do something in the afternoon? So I'm going to look to her and be like, can you host us one day? And maybe all the women can come and do like a Pilates class, or we can do something fun. And then like maybe the next month, I would love to chat with you about having one of those months, have you speak and have the women come in and maybe learn about stuff like this that can help with stress. And so that's kind of my goal, kind of sort of like a lunch and learn, but for women. And I'm
okay.
Yeah, it's not anything huge, no humongous event, but just something. But I'm trying to get all the dates planned prior to Empower, because I want every woman that comes to get a copy of a calendar from May till the end of the year of here are the dates we're doing it. Put them on your calendar. We want you to be there.
Awesome.
And there will probably be a fee to come to them. But if you've come to Empower, maybe you get $5 off, coming to each one or something to that effect. But anyway, that's my thing. So before we let you go, tell us, how can people get a hold of you? And then you're getting ready to open a location, or
so I am in, I'm seeing patients inside the Recharge Wellness Studio. I am still a full-time doctoral student, so I'm not there 7 days a week. And then I'm adjunct at Liberty this semester. I'm doing more than I should, but I'm there a couple of days.
That causes stress.
It does cause stress. I love to teach though, and I'm grateful to be there. But you can find me at empowerandflourish.com. And I have a little chat widget in the bottom right-hand corner, and that's what I recommend you use. Just fill out your name and your phone number and chat with me, and we'll set up a time for you to come in and get your free consult. Or just ask me questions there. That's a great opportunity too. So that's the best way to find me.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
Well, we're going to go to a quick commercial. We don't have very much of the show left. We've got about 15, 20 minutes, but we're going to do a quick commercial, and we'll come back, and Mike and I are just going to do a quick chat on the stress and everything.
That's a great segue into this.
Yeah. What have you been doing while you've been cooped up with, your business and all the good things?
Everything.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Today's podcast is brought to you by Omega Disaster Restoration, located in Campbell County, Virginia. Omega specializes in water, fire, and smoke damage restoration, as well as mold remediation. Their region includes Central and Southwest Virginia, which spans a vast service area from Blacksburg to Charlottesville and Stanton to Danville.
In addition to disaster restoration and full service reconstruction and remodeling, Omega is proud to offer custom all-wood cabinets through their Hanover Woodworking Studio, custom countertops via their Top Solution Studio, and dumpster services through Old Dominion Dumpsters, all part of the Omega family of brands. A beautiful showroom is currently under construction at their Exchange Drive location and will be soon open to the public, showcasing their diverse offerings.
Customers can call 434-616-4659 for emergency assistance with water, fire, smoke damage, or mold remediation needs. Omega provides 24/7 emergency response, ensuring that help is always available. Locally owned and not a franchise, Omega is your first and last call in any emergency, restoring your home or business from beginning to end. For more information about Omega Disaster Restoration and their comprehensive services, please visit omegadisasterrestoration.com/VA/Lynchburg.
Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care, is now serving Lynchburg and the surrounding counties from their new location at 2201 Linghorn Road, providing our community with personal care services, including assistance with bathing, dressing, meal preparation, grocery shopping, light housekeeping, and much more. Our trained staff have to pass all of our requirements for a high standard of care, ensuring that you have a compassionate, kind, and qualified caregiver. Our office team works with you as a partner in providing care for you or your family member to make the task of starting and continuing care an easier process. At Visiting Angels, we understand that every individual is different. That's why our team of dedicated caregivers is committed to providing tailored assistance to make you happier and healthier at home. Call 434-439-4698 to learn more about our services and schedule a free in-home, no-obligation consultation. Trust Visiting Angels in Lynchburg to bring peace of mind to you and your loved ones.
Visiting Angels, America's choice in home care.
That's my favorite commercial.
Is it? We haven't
I'm
heard
going to
it
be
in a
singing
while.
that song for the rest of the day, though.
Yeah, we haven't heard it in a while.
So, that song has choruses, verse, everything. Like, it's a full...
No,
I sent it to Woody, and he was just jamming out to it. Like,
so it's
day
more
after
than
day.
just that little piece.
Oh, it is amazingly horrible. So, I mean, it's great, but it's super cheesy.
Hilarious.
Unless somebody from Visiting Angels is listening. Dave Rilling, if you're listening to this, I'm not making fun of you because I think he's the one that wrote it. But anyway. Yep.
Well, so we've only got, just a little bit of time. We had talked about, and again, thank you to Theresa for joining us today because
Yeah, it was a great episode.
it was a great episode. I learned a lot. I have a lot of things I want to potentially, chat about and, maybe, jump into using some services or at least, seeing what we can do. That's what I love about this show is that I have Teresa's a member, but I learned so much about my members having them on
I
the
tell
show.
everybody,
That's the
I
best
feel
part
like I
about
have
show.
the cheat code for the CVABC membership because doing this every week, like if I have a question, I can ask it, right? And being able to learn more in depth about our members and things like that, it's great.
Well, that's what this is it's really about because, you have so many members. You can't meet them all. And even when you're at a coffee talk or whatnot,
You can't have a 20-minute talk with somebody.
No.
With everybody at Coffee Talk, right? And it was interesting the other day because I was talking to somebody and I was telling them, like, yeah, we do this and this and this. They were watching our Tea Time segment, right? And they were like, I didn't realize that's what you did. I'm like, I've been part of this organization since 2019 and I talk about it nonstop. Like, how did you not know? Like, well, I knew you did home care, but I didn't know what that was. And I'm like, noted. Like, I need to talk about it more, right? I need to talk about it in more detail. So the Tea Time is another great way to learn about the business. And that's where we're really trying to learn about the business owners and the people behind the business more. But the business kind of leaks out because you see their mission and their
I was
reason
actually
why.
thinking for Tea Time, I need to actually schedule an interview with me. I got to swap it.
Yeah.
So people can learn more about the CVABC and why we
That would be good.
do the things.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Thinking outside the box.
That's how I do. That's how I'm rolling this year, as y'all know. All kinds of things.
So we talked about stress a little while ago and how it can affect your health. So one of the things that can stress people out is when we have weather like we just had, right? Not necessarily the weather itself, but the panic of I'm going to be at home with my kids and I'm not used to having them at home and I've got to feed them and they're going to eat all the snacks in the first 30 seconds that the snow falls, right? And then there's impacts to business. So Visiting Angels actually shut down Saturday night through Tuesday morning. We have not shut down for that long since we opened and had our first client, right? So it was very stressful for me because I was like, how are we going to keep the doors open, right? That you instantly go to like all the panic of like worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And you know what? We came through fine. And all of our clients were safe. None of our clients were like, why can't you come, right? They were all understanding. Like we have not seen a snowstorm like this in a long time. So they were all very understanding and we were able to keep all of our caregivers safe. And then we slowly kind of restarted and got the people out where we could and where streets have been plowed and things like that. But it was amazing to me how quickly our caregivers were like, no, I can drive, right? Normally a snowflake falls and everybody's like, I can't go to work, right? But people were very anxious to get back to work. And I think a lot of it was just because of like the added stress of like, if they don't work, how are they going to pay their bills? And if like, and the frustration that comes from being stuck inside the same four walls, right, can be a big stressor if you can't get out of your driveway, for instance, and things like that. So,
well, and it's also you're no offense to like your family or anything, but you're cooped up for days with the same people consistently over and over. I mean, I love my family, but after a day or two, I'm just like, I'm gonna need you to stay in your room, or I'm gonna need
people are very, very much creatures of habit, right? When their routine gets messed up, it messes the whole thing up. I hate time change just for that reason. I don't care if we get an extra hour sleep. it throws my schedule off. Right. So, there's a reason that more heart attacks and things like that happen after time change, because messing with somebody's schedule, even by an hour, even if it's in their favor and they get more time to get to work and things like that, like it just messes everybody up. So when you add that stress and frustration, and people get irritated with each other really quickly, right? Especially if you're used to go.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And I think too, like for me, the stress when it comes to work and business is, and I kind of hit on this a little bit earlier, I'm good with being at home. I can work at home. The problem is I don't really have a dedicated, like I don't have an office.
Right.
So I'm usually propped up at my kitchen table trying to work. And then, I've got, a kid coming in every few seconds asking like, hey, can I do this?
Can I have a snack?
Yeah. Or
can I have a snack?
The best part is.
Can I have a snack? Can I have a snack?
Yeah.
Can I have a snack?
That's right.
You get it.
The best part is when I'm like, okay, so you've reverted back to the Zoom meetings. It's back to 2020. Right. You're in the Zoom calls. You're trying to do things. And like, it never fails. Like I blur my background and like we're sitting there or my husband or my daughter forgets that like, even though it's blurred, and if you get in it, they can see you. And so like, I'll be in there and somebody will be talking. Next thing you know, you just see my husband's head like creep in because he wants to see like
who is it?
Who's on her Zoom call. And I'm like, get out of my call. Yeah. Like, so it's frustrating because I'm not just in my office where I feel like, okay, I'm getting work done. I feel like I'm here and I'm trying to be at work, but I'm really, what's for lunch? Do I need to go do this?
The washer just finished. Let me go move laundry.
Yeah, let me go do the laundry. Or what's for dinner? Do I need to get in the crock pot?
My dog, talk about routines being messed up. My dog isn't used to me being home all day. Mm-hmm. So he thought he had a free ticket to go outside every 5 minutes. Oh, yeah. Every time he heard somebody shoveling or the kids playing next door or whatever, like he was in and out. Like I may have lost my temper and yelled at my dog, like not in a mean tone, just mean words because he doesn't speak English. So, like he frustrated me one day to the point where I was like, you need to lay down on the bed and don't get up. Mm-hmm. Right. Here's a treat. Lay down. Don't move. Mm-hmm. So, it's messing up that routine and it just makes you less effective. This is the first time that I've worked from home and actually managed to like get big things done. Yeah. Right. Because we were shut down Monday, right? There weren't any shifts. So there was no caregiver communication, things like it was very limited. People just kind of checking on the next day, things like that. It wasn't the usual busyness that happens. So I was able to knock quite a few big projects out that I haven't been able to do in quite a while. So, and we're actually converting we got rid of our dining room. We moved our dining room table into the kitchen. Like we're redoing that space as an office space because it's hard for us to do like my wife works from home and she has an office upstairs, but like we can't do like household business there, right? Like sitting down, going over bills, things like that. So we're making a dedicated space for like relaxation, reading, and having a desk where we have like a dedicated computer where we can like work from home on home. Yeah. Right.
Makes sense. Yeah. So I just, I don't know. And kind of, so you have the office space issue. Some people have the internet issue, you especially I know here in Bedford County, they've gotten much better with having broadband and having, internet that reaches to more areas of the county. But, back 5 years ago when we were having to adapt to, the being at home and with the pandemic, I did not have internet back at that time. Right. Like I'm having to like hotspot off my phone. I remember. and not being able to use, not being able to use like some of the.
You'd be the host of the meeting and all of a sudden you drop out and everybody got kicked out. Like,
Yep. Because I had it happened. It was difficult. And so I know there are still some spots where that's happening, whether it's here or I don't know, Campbell County. I'm not sure how all the other counties in our area are working, but that can be stressful when you're not sure when you're relying upon internet to be able to do much of anything.
Right. Because you can't do anything without internet these days. So it's very frustrating. So it's the only reason I don't like flying. So because I don't have any internet when I'm on the plane. I refuse to pay $20 for Wi-Fi on a plane. So just saying. But I knew exactly what I was going to say. I had a plan. It just left.
With the plane.
It's because I drank too much water today. With the plane. Yeah. It took right off. COVID did teach us a lot of good things that we can do a lot remotely. Right. It's shaped our whole office to where all of my staff's cell phones have the ability to answer the office phones. Right. So that means no matter where we are, we can do it. So Marilyn and I are the only ones that are back in the office, like what I'll call like full time. Right. So everybody else is still kind of working remote and things like that. And If we didn't have that ability, I would be going crazy right now because I wouldn't be sitting here. I'd be sitting in my office.
Yeah.
Because there would be nobody there to answer phones and things like that. And,
Right.
it makes the in-person a little harder because we've got to make sure that somebody's there in the afternoon when somebody's coming by, things like that, especially when people are trying to get W-2s, different things like that. Like, because some of our staff wanted to pick them up instead of having mailed or anything like that. So we've got to make sure that somebody's there in the afternoon because most of my office staff works until 2 and then I'm there, 2 to 5 or whatever, 2 to 7, whatever. So, that's been our only real challenge is making sure that somebody's physically in the office, but we're all able to do things remote. And it's because of what we learned during COVID. And the good thing is when they say the snow is for 2 weeks, it may be 2 or 3 weeks, but it's not going to be 3 years.
Yeah.
Like COVID was. So.
Yeah. And I'm okay with, I get a lot of work done when I'm just home by myself.
Right.
But there are times too where you just need a scenery change.
Right.
You just can't sit there at your table all day.
Right.
I enjoy being in my office. It's my, my safe space when it comes to work. And also I deal with people's information to some degree too. I can't just have all your personal information out of my house, business info and stuff like that. So it definitely can be stressful when you're taken out of your, we're creatures of habit. I've already said that. And when you're kind of taken out of that realm,
whether they're good habits or bad habits, we're creatures of habit.
That's true. It can definitely alleviate your stress levels. And,
right.
So I don't know how you handled that over the past couple of weeks, just being at home.
Pretty well.
But I did pretty well.
I got a lot of laundry done.
I got a lot of work done. I did. But I really did have to set some time and I had to set some boundaries, even with my husband and my daughter. And I was just like, look, if I'm here, y'all are going to have to wait until I look at you and say, okay, hey, I'm done with this potential project right now before coming.
And I know
you
you
with
think
something.
that I'm home, so I'm available.
Yeah.
But I am at work.
Yeah.
My body is here, but my mind is not.
Correct.
Right.
Yep. And, and it's got to be harder for people who have younger kids. My daughter's 14, so she can go make herself a sandwich.
Lynchburg City Schools got sent home with schoolwork. Right. So
yeah, mine didn't have to do that.
One of my office staff was like, I need to go take a break because I've got to go help with school. And I was like, thank goodness that we have enough flexibility that you can do that. Because it was a lot of work that went home for Lynchburg City Schools because they did not plan on going back in a hurry. So, and I was shocked. Bedford County yesterday went back 2 hours late.
We went back 2 hours and on time today. That shocked me. That really shocked me. I'm not gonna lie. That really did shock me. And I'm not gonna, whether it was the right choice or not, it wasn't. I'm just gonna say it did shock me. At least yesterday it definitely was not. But anyway, I'm gonna keep my opinions about that to myself.
Right.
So
yeah, I know that some parents of Lynchburg City kids were not happy that they had to work with their kids on school again, but at least then you're not trying to rush them.
Yeah.
Whoever's in charge, you're not going to win either way.
Yeah. It's funny because you always message, you always watch people say they're there for the comments because it's you have people complaining you need to be back in school. We need to be back in school. And then as soon as they say we're going back to school, it's people I can't believe you're going back to school. This is horrible. And I'm like, y'all, this is nuts. You can't have it both ways, guys. So yeah, is what it is. But,
yeah.
But yeah, so definitely, if you're listening in today, hopefully you are, you've found some ways to alleviate your stress, or you've put plans in place at your business for things like this when it happens, so that it's not just a shock. You're not having to adapt that really quickly. I'm not going to say the word that everyone has used.
No, I hate, you're banned from saying that.
I'm not saying that word. So, but, it is good to, have a plan in place, whether you are the head of your business, whether you're a manager, or whether you're just an employee that knows there's a potential that I'm not going to be able to make it into work on, when this is coming, to have sort of a plan in place prior to it happening, because it will alleviate that stress. Even if it's as simple as what's going to happen if my kids are out of school and I have to go to work, and who's going to keep my kids, and what's going to happen there. I see so many people I don't know what to do with my kids. You should know what you're going to do with your kids. No offense. To some degree, you should have that planned out if you possibly can. I know everyone can't, but there are things I knew I was going to get stuck at home. I made sure I had my computer with me. I knew it was going to snow.
Everybody made sure they had the milk, bread, and eggs.
Yeah.
So they make their French toast.
Yeah. There should be no reason I didn't have my computer with me when I knew it was coming.
Right.
So that's just
I even took my 3D printer home so that if I got snowed in, I could do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So put plans in place that you have that can help alleviate some of that stress when something happens. I mean, of course, we can't plan for everything. You just can't. But
Right.
the things that you can, you should. So,
Yeah.
there you go. That's all I got for today.
Awesome.
I'm done. I've said my piece about all the things, but I want to thank Theresa again for coming on with us.
Yeah.
And if you are, if you were listening in, you want to learn more, make sure you go check out her website, contact her, get a consultation, see what she can do to help
free.
you out. It's free.
It's my favorite price.
And if you want to learn anything more about any of the upcoming events that we've talked about today, on how to buy tickets or how to get a booth or any of the dates, or more about Theresa and her business, you can find information at
cvabc.org. Have a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday.